Okay guys, well, I'm in a relatively safe place. I'm going to investigate. Okay, not quite relatively safe. Let me just deal with him. Ah, oh, interesting. Okay, this is a new ability what I've been using. It basically slows them. And okay, now I think I'm relatively safe. Actually, I'm gonna go down to the morning light camp. Pretty sure nobody's gonna bother me with these hippies around. And I'm just gonna jump on the tent here. Alright. Essentially, I've had a lot of passives and a lot of actives, and it didn't really work quite alright in synergy with one another. So what we're gonna do is I made a few changes, but there's a few more that we can do. So first of all, I've got experience, effectiveness of leech by 25%. Since I'm practically relying on anima shot for most of my stuff, I'm gonna keep that one. I've added eagle eye, which increases damage by my assault rifle abilities by 10%, because I use the assault rifle quite frequently, shall we say. Extra clip. Okay, extra clip is something, I'm not really sure about it. Basically, when I'm using this lock and load, instead of adding 3 assault resources, it adds 3 plus 2 additional, so it adds 5. So what usually my tactic that I'm doing, I'm shooting the enemy until I have 5, using fire at will to spend all of the 5, because it does 28 physical damage per resource consumed. And then this is gone and all my 5 resources gone. I click on lock and load, which in addition to extra clip gives me 5 resources again, and again I unload those 5 resources with fire at will. So it gives me a back-to-back fire at will. Plus, I think one other thing it does, it reduces the charge time of all assault rifle resources. It reduces the recharge time of all assault rifle resource consumers, charging by 4 seconds. But that doesn't matter depending on how many resources I've got. That's irrelevant. So this is actually quite handy because it adds 2 additional resources. But just for a one-off, not quite sure that it's that handy. So I'm gonna put it here as a maybe. Lick your wounds. Whenever you attack, you gain a single stack of healing over time, which heals for 1 every second per stack for 10 seconds. This is quite useful. I'm not actually going to get rid of that. Anima boost, again, increases damage dealt, leech, and heal of anima shots. Since I'm relying on anima shot, I'm not going to remove that. Military code. Military code is basically when you kill an enemy and you still have assault rifle resources remaining, you usually lose them all, because it relies on you stacking up on that enemy and then using it. This just means if you killed an enemy and you lost all your resources, then the next attack with your assault rifle, you get an additional resource to compensate for that. It's quite a meh, and I'm actually going to dump that. It was useful at the start of the game, not so much now. Immortal Spirit. When you penetrate, now penetrate basically means is you get a penetration rating, and if they can't counter it, then they block, and you only do something like 50% of the damage. If they don't counter it, you do the full damage. And of course they can always evade, which then you do 0 of the damage. So this, whenever you penetrate, you gain heal over time, which heals 13 every second for 5 seconds, essentially 45 healing points. Again, my penetration rating isn't that good, and I've got other things to rely on for healing. Most of my other things, but my anima shot is pretty much a sure thing, and my attacks in using so anima boost and experience both guarantee I get a lot of health, and lick your wounds is a guaranteed health. This one is a maybe health, so I'm just gonna bring all these ones up, and these are the maybes. Now we can have a look at what else we have here. Okay, so these are the things I've got under assault rifle. I pretty much feel the experience. We've got fire in the hole. Fire in the hole, the problem with it does a lot of damage, because basically it puts a bomb on the target, it takes 2 seconds and it does 177 physical damage. Pretty good. But the problem is it consumes all assault rifle resources. So I usually use that after I've gained maybe 1 resource, so it only spends 1 resource. It still does 177 damage, so it's not too bad. The problem with it takes time to use, and I think it's the yeah, it's got the 4-second cooldown, which is not very good. Yeah, not very good. So some things that I know that they definitely will have, but this one I'm not sure. Again, lock and load, like I said, it's the maybe. It's basically gives me a back-to-back with the resource expenditure, but I'm still not sure about that. Anima shot is a must. Military code, we already dumped that. Yeah, so that's pretty much what I've got here under support. Now under engage, I've got a couple of interesting things. Fire at will is pretty much a must. It takes down zombies like there's no tomorrow. It uses all the resources. Area of effect, I don't know what T means. Maybe somebody can help. Frenzy attack, I don't know what frenzy means. Targeted, ground targeted, or point blank area of effect abilities. It's just a subtype. I guess there's things that play off of the subtypes, kind of like Magic the Gathering. It deals 80 physical damage, additional hit for each assault rifle resource. So if I've got 5 resources, 5 times 28, 5 times 28, an additional hit is performed, sorry. Yeah, okay, so 5 times 28, it's 120 essentially, plus 80, it's 200. So this one does 200 damage. So you can see, if I've got 5 stacks, this does 200 damage, which is still got the cooldown of 4, which is essentially the same as that bomb thing, which takes 2 seconds, and it does essentially the same amount of damage. I'm probably going to not worry about fire in the hole. Although the nice thing with fire in the hole is that it's almost the same damage, but you only use 1 resource, whereas with the other one I need all 5 resources. But on the other hand, it takes 2 seconds to actually deal that damage. So I'm not sure which one is preferable. Actually, I'm pretty sure fire in the hole is probably better, but I also think that the range of fire in the hole is much shorter, because you need to be closer, to the target to actually use that, whereas fire at will, I can be far and use it. So yeah, I'm still not sure. Maybe I still want both of them. We'll see in a second. Safety off, that's the main attack, which I barely use because I usually use Anima Shot, which is instantaneous. Safety off builds 1 resource for each equipped weapon, and a single target burst attack that hits 3 times, dealing 31, so essentially 93 points of damage. 93 points of damage with a 1-second cooldown. Whereas Anima Shot does 87 damage. Actually, it does more because I've got all the extras that it does. And I also heal for 34 and then 18%.